Conservation of linear momentum. Momentum is inertia of motion. The momentum of an object is equal to its velocity multiplied by its mass. The law of conservation of momentum states that in an isolated system, the total momentum before an interaction is equal to the total momentum after an interaction. Rocket propulsion is an excellent example of the conservation of momentum. As exhaust gases go in one direction, the rocket goes in the other direction, so that the total momentum of the system remains constant. A biology example of conservation of momentum is observed in squids. Squids draw in water, then expel the water to propel forward. The conservation of momentum theory states that for any collision occurring in an isolated system, momentum is conserved, as shown in the following formula. In our experiment, we expect to see data correlating with the conservation of momentum. We expect the total initial momentum and total final momentum to be equal. To gather our data, we measured the mass of 2 miniature cars and then collided them on a horizontal track and gathered our data using a motion sensor system. To obtain the velocities, we used a position versus time graph and then used the slope to find the velocities. Here, we have the position versus time graph used to obtain our data. The slopes highlighted were used as the velocities. We then used the momentum equation to solve for momentum using the mass and velocity. We then compiled our data into a chart showing the mass, initial velocity, initial momentum, and final momentum for each car. We then used the conservation of momentum formula showing the initial total momentum on one side and final total momentum on the other to show that our total momentum for each side was equal. Our results show that the total initial momentum of the system and total final momentum of the system are equal, adhering with the law of conservation of momentum. In conclusion, in any isolated system where no outside forces are acting on the object, momentum will be conserved. This experiment was conducted following CDC guidelines to avoid the spread of COVID-19.